So the site selection is the hard part. The conceptual part, deciding what goes into it, what services, what it might look like, that's the fun part. Site selection part is hard. So this is a little bit about where we are and where we're hoping to go. We started this process with our internal staff team looked at the whole field of sites, about 130 possible sites in the city as our working universe. And we've narrowed that down. We've dropped unsuitable sites that were too small. We know that we need about 0.7 acres for this, so sites smaller than that wouldn't work. Sites that were too large, where we didn't really have any clear plan on what we might do with the rest of the site. Sites with development plans, all of those were dropped. And so we tried to narrow it down to about 20 sites. That we ultimately would like to narrow down to about 8 to 10 sites to do a full feasibility analysis on, which NJA will do for us, and test fits. If we tried to use this site, how would we get that building diagram on that site? And then we will be scoring those sites under some site criteria review. Which they briefly touched on, and I have a little bit more information on, and ultimately hoping to get to about 4 sites that we would release in January for public engagement, 2+ in-person community meetings, and as well as virtual options for comment. So in the near term, what we are looking to do is release an online survey. This will be about what are people's site criteria, what's important to them when we're choosing a site. Is it important that it be near public transit? Is it important that it be near jobs? Is it important that it have easy accessibility for our police and emergency services? We have a lot of factors we're hoping to get some feedback on. We're anticipating putting out the survey next week, so looking forward to some of your feedback tonight on factors that you want to see, and then having it available about 3 weeks, and then coming back to the council on October 22nd to share with you what we've heard from the community and hopefully align on a set of criteria that we can use to figure out which sites ultimately will move forward. And then in January, we'll have a couple of community meetings around the site specifics, as well as some online comment opportunities. We were able to get the word out a lot of ways for the phase 1 meetings. We plan to use all of those ways again here, plus mailers to residents in proximity. So we will be doing some postcards that go out to folks who have businesses or homes that are near the potential sites. So when we're looking at siting criteria, we want to look at 5 main areas. Accessibility. How easy is it for folks to get around inside and outside of the shelter? So walkability and bikeability. We have a lot of folks who get around on bikes who are at our current shelter. Ideally, something nearby public transit for those who use that. And making sure that we have universal accessibility on the shelter property for folks who have mobility considerations. We want to find out a little bit about how folks feel about compatibility. Is it important that the shelter fit within the neighborhood character? How would it integrate into the community? Is it important that the neighborhood accept it? Or how important is neighborhood opposition to folks when we're looking at sites? And then equitable distribution of resources throughout the city. Safety and security. Some ideas that we've had on that topic are the ability for emergency services to reach the site quickly and to be able to transport people quickly in case they need to go to the hospital. It does not happen often, but we want to make sure that is available when needed. A site layout that incorporates feedback from our police department on safety, facilitating visibility, easy access, controlled access, so we can control who's coming and going easily from that site, and can have cameras throughout to make sure that we know what's going on. And then also possibly looking at the neighborhood crime rates in that scoring criteria. Adjacency and proximity is a huge thing. Do folks want to see sites near services that people need, like healthcare opportunities, jobs, grocery stores? Are we looking to avoid conflict with sensitive uses like residences or certain businesses. How close should it be to a school, a park, or a library, or other public uses? And then, of course, feasibility and cost are always a consideration. Can we build this? Can we afford to build this on this site? So zoning, land use, environmental considerations, how easy it is to get infrastructure at the site. Can the site meet our timeline so that we'll have a shelter that opens around the time that our lease ends on the other shelter, and just overall cost. So those are some of the criteria that we're hoping to cover with folks in the survey. Definitely interested in the council's perspective on that. Are there things you see here that we've missed, or that you'd really especially like us to include? Just a quick recap of the time frame here. Sharing the survey next week, back at council October 22nd, doing that full analysis of the sites, of 8 to 10 sites between October and December, and then narrowing it down to the 4 sites that we put out publicly in January, with hopefully the council selecting a site in February next year. That's it for my presentation. Love to have your feedback.